So hello guys, and welcome to another video, and today I wanted to talk about Sonic, which is something that I usually don't talk about on this channel that much. I mean, I do cover it sometimes in recent news, but until recently I haven't been like super big into the series. I mean, I've always been into the 2D games, but I've been getting more into the 3D and boost games recently, and I'm glad that I have because a lot of them are pretty good, despite some of the very conflicting and mediocre games out there. I've been playing some of the ones that are pretty well regarded, so I've been having a pretty good time with it, and I've been kind of more familiarizing myself with the general scope of the series and everything. So I wanted to talk about a reveal that happened recently with Sonic and Shadow Generations, because this game looks pretty intriguing to me. And I do have some concerns, but I also have some things that I'm actually kind of excited about too. And I'll kind of discuss both of those in this video. And just keep in mind, I'm not like the biggest fan of Sonic, so if I say something kind of off, you can like tell me in the comments, kind of clarify with me if I'm like kind of confused about anything. But I mean, I really like Sonic Generations, so I kind of have a general idea of that game and everything, so I kind of wanted to discuss that. Since, first off, I'm glad that Sonic Generations is going to be coming to more platforms. I know Sonic Generations is already pretty accessible. I know a lot of people out there are saying, like, well, it's only available on Xbox and PC, and you have to have a really good PC to play it. You don't have to have a good PC to play Sonic Generations. You could really use like any PC released in the past 15 years for Sonic Generations. It runs flawlessly on my laptop. Well, that's not really anything to go by since my laptop is like decently powerful, but I've heard that it runs well on like most modern computers, so that the accessibility isn't really an issue with Sonic Generations. But I am all for different games being on like all sorts of platforms, because I am just definitely all for video game preservation. So I'm glad that Sonic Generations will be available on the PS5 and Nintendo Switch, since I don't think there is a way of playing like the original Sonic Generations on the PS5, and there definitely isn't a way on any Nintendo console, except for the 3DS, but that's a completely different version of Sonic Generations. But yeah, I'm glad that it will be available on more platforms now. But the big thing that most people have been concerned about is how this will be handled as a remaster. And I'll get into the Shadow part in a little bit, but the Sonic Generations part, I do still have some concerns. I mean, it is being handled by the Sonic team, which, I mean, is more reliable than the past developers of some of the other remasters, but I mean, there has been like a pretty, like, not very good track record but for Sonic's franchise in terms of remasters. Like when you look at like Sonic Adventure DX, that had a lot of problems, as well as Sonic Colors Ultimate, or Sonic 1 on the GBA, that was horrible. As well as like, I mean, this one's debatable, but Sonic Origins, I mean, I know there's a lot of people that like it, and it would have been better if it was, I guess if it was handled better and had some different decisions, because I feel like it was a bit too expensive from what I've heard, and they did that weird system with like the digital deluxe versions and different things like that. But I heard it wasn't terrible, I heard it was alright, but it still doesn't necessarily help the image that Sonic remasters have. So it still is a little concerning, like despite the fact that it is being developed by Sonic Team. But from what we've seen from the gameplay so far, it doesn't look to have really any issues so far. I mean, we've said that about like Sonic Colors Ultimate, but like with this, it looks fine so far. So I feel like it's fine to have some cautious optimism for how this game will be optimized on the consoles. So we'll just have to see. I mean, I have more hope in this than the other Sonic remasters, but we'll just have to see. I mean, I really hope this ends up working out, because Sonic Generations is a great game. It's one of my favorite Sonic games of all time. And I think it would be great if it was available on a Nintendo console finally. And also, I want to get into that as well. With the Nintendo Switch, there was a trailer that Nintendo dropped with this game, and I'm not sure if the footage being shown was Nintendo Switch footage, because I know that's not always the case when they show like trailers for third-party games on the Switch, but I hope this is optimized well. I hope like the original basically this package has like the original version of Sonic Generations kind of being upgraded, upscaled, reworked, and different things like that. So I hope it is based on the original version of Sonic Generations, so it can be kind of adapted for the Switch. Because the Switch can easily run the original version of Sonic Generations. Like, just looking at its specs and everything, I am definitely confident that it can run that game. But I'm like, sometimes, like, with remasters and things, with games that were on older consoles or consoles that would be able to kind of be ported to the Switch, sometimes they are kind of botched and unoptimized on the Switch. And we're kind of nearing the end of the Switch's lifespan, and we're a few years into the next generation as well. So it is a little concerning to think, like, if this game is being optimized for the current generation without being optimized for the Switch. But we'll have to see. And yeah, just in general, like, I just think those are some things to keep in mind. But one thing that I am really excited about with Sonic and Shadow Generations is Shadow Generations. Because this looks excellent from what I've seen. Like, I think Shadow is a really cool character and everything. I have yet to play Shadow the Hedgehog on the GameCube. I would have played that at some point. I really liked Shadow's levels in Sonic Adventure 2. And just Shadow's story in general is just really cool. And I'm glad that they are going all out this year, kind of putting Shadow into the spotlight again. Because, I mean, yeah, he showed up from time to time, but he didn't really get the spotlight, like, over the past, like, couple decades. So, I'm glad that he's finally getting, like, the spotlight again. And I think this is, like, the most, like, attention he's received in a game since, like, his own game. So, like, it's really exciting to see. And it's just really cool how they're doing, like, the Bowser's Fury / Magolor epilogue approach for Shadow Generations here. And I think there's a lot of potential with this. And I'm glad that there are going to be, like, with this game as technically going to be more playable characters this time, since I love the fact in certain Sonic games you can play as a lot of different characters. I mean, granted, there's only 3, but I still think that's pretty cool that you could either play as, like, Sonic, classic Sonic, and then Shadow. Though Shadow will have, like, a different kind of, like, story and everything, which I like. I think that's pretty cool that it's, like, a self-contained thing here. And Black Doom is returning from Shadow the Hedgehog, so I think that's really cool. And apparently in Shadow Generations, it's gonna show, like, different things, like, from Shadow's past and everything, and I think that's pretty cool. Like, they showed, like, Bio-Lizard and different things like that, so I'm really hoping that Mephiles will return. Like, I know there was, like, some things that I've heard about, like, Ian Flynn, like, headcanoning Time Eater as, like, Mephiles or something like that, from what I've heard. So it would be cool to see Mephiles in Shadow Generations. It would definitely kind of, like, complete that whole Shadow Generations thing. Like, it kind of seems like they're doing a thing where they're gonna kind of go through some of, like, Shadow's history, like, throughout Shadow's story and everything. So I think that's pretty cool. So, yeah, I am actually pretty excited about that part. of Sonic and Shadow Generations. And then also, like, with Sonic Generations, the base part in general, I'm hoping they'll do more with that as well. Like, I'm not sure if that, like, they confirmed that Shadow is the only, like, new thing that they'll do, but it would be really nice if they had, like, even more new things in, like, the regular Sonic Generations part. I know this is very unlikely, but it would be cool to see, like, new, levels based on, like, the newer Sonic games. Like, maybe one with, like, Sonic Lost World, Sonic Forces, Sonic Mania. Well, Sonic Mania is the one that I'd really be excited about, since I don't really care for Sonic Lost World and Sonic Forces, but Sonic Mania, that would be great to see one of those levels, like Studiopolis, being kind of shown in 3D. That would be amazing. And maybe even something from Sonic Frontiers, even though that's unlikely, or Sonic Superstars, which is also pretty unlikely. But I don't know, I think it would be pretty cool if they did have, like, modern levels, like with games that released after Sonic Generations, that kind of have like a more complete and definitive Sonic Generations. So I think that would be pretty cool. Or maybe even like Sonic CD levels, or like one location from Sonic CD, since that wasn't represented in the main level selection in the original Sonic Generations, but that would be pretty cool as well, but we'll just have to see. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Twitter if you want to. Goodbye.